Welcome to the Kettenhund Kindred blog. Uh, I'm kind of keeping my voice low because it's 12 o'clock at night and everyone in my house is sleeping except for a 17-year-old who's uh, in his room playing video games. But I live in a very small 2-bedroom apartment. I have a fiance and a 2-year-old baby girl and another one on the way. We think it's going to be a boy. Anyway, this is an introductory video to the blog that I'm going to be starting, and hopefully we'll be able to keep going for a while. Kind of want to capture a sort of a moment in the life, in my life. For those of you who don't know me, I go by the name Jimmy Dean on Facebook. I was also the one that started the Odin's Eye podcast. I had some help from a few people like Chuck Hudson down there in New Mexico through Raven Radio. If you are familiar with that podcast, then you also know that I'm a convicted felon, that I served 15 years in the Colorado Department of Corrections for some robbery charges. That was back in 1996. I got out of prison in 2011, February 2011, and since then, I've seen, quite a lot of stuff change for me and my new family. When I went to prison, I didn't have any children, didn't have anything, and spent most of my 20s and all of my 30s in prison. And so when I started out here again, it was kind of a new start for me. But I picked up the hammer, I guess if you want to call it that, while I was locked up, and the perception that I had of it then is still the same, but there were issues that came out of that sort of environment that I talked about a lot when I was doing the podcast. This blog's not going to be geared towards that. This is more along the lines of an everyday sort of journal in the life of a heathen, and I think it's important because I think a lot of people might have this perception in their mind about what it means to be a heathen, what their responsibilities are, how they should act, and things of that nature. Maybe there's some stigma out there about it. I'm not here for any kind of political agenda. You'll see as the blogs go on where I stand on a lot of things. I don't like to hide. I think, anybody who puts themselves out here like this can't be really afraid of the criticism that might come from other people that don't agree with your point of view on things. I've been heathen for since 1998 was when I first officially, I guess you want to call it officially, started out. But even before then, I had an interest in it. I just didn't know that there was anything out there. And anybody who's been walking this path for the past 20 years knows how much it's changed as far as the public is concerned. So, yeah, I'm very proud of where I came from. I'm very proud of the fact that I've been able to sort of claw my way out of the turmoil and the strife that I caused myself. But no, I'm also part of a Kindred. I've been a part of this Kindred since 2000, and we have, I don't know, we kind of ebb and flow. We have, sometimes we sort of swell. We get guests. Somebody knows somebody and they want to bring them to a bloat or something, and they stick around for a while, and then people start to drop off, and it starts to grow again, and then people start to drop off. But there's a core that's remained pretty solid, and it's funny because although this journal isn't really about the Kindred per se, probably a lot of it's going to come up, but I'm going to avoid throwing a lot of the Kindred business out there. But some of the struggles that we've faced as a Kindred, I'm sure a lot of you out there who are part of Kindreds or have started Kindreds kind of have probably had some of the same similar issues. But for us, it's an interesting dynamic because all of the ones that are sort of in charge, if you will, that organize the bloats and the times, and stress on conduct and ethics and values are all guys that serve time. So we kind of want to try to steer away from that and start, branching out, and maybe this will help. I don't know, but we're pretty down to earth, and a lot of us have come out of the fire and have made something of ourselves, and we're not the same people that we were back then. I've met with some pretty heavy criticism through the podcast from people, and we also did a survey, which is actually still going. I just haven't been plugging it, but we're here and we're making a name for ourselves, and it's a good positive thing. It's not a negative thing. We're not condoning racial politics. We're not condoning bigotry of any kind. We're not proselytizing and pushing our faith on other people. This is just the path we walk, and if people like it, then they find us and we talk and get together and do what heathen communities are supposed to do. If they don't like it, well, about, but just want to make it clear, I'm not here to try to preach to anyone. I'm not here to try to sell you on anything. I'm just putting myself out there, and people can take from it what they want. Maybe there's some people out there that don't understand, or maybe they think that there's some sort of special something that they have to be in order to walk a heathen path. I'm really just here to tell you that you don't have to be out there picketing the government. You don't have to be out there signing petitions or being an activist to be a heathen. And it doesn't make you more of a heathen if you're doing something proactive for the benefit of the heathen community. Those things are great to do if you can do them and you have the time to do them, but not everybody fits into that category. I got a family to feed and a roof to put over their heads, and that doesn't really afford me a lot of time to take up the fight, if you will. There's so many fronts: perseverance, dedication, loyalty, industriousness, honor, fidelity. These kinds of things are what help us make it through. I didn't grow the beard out specifically for the blog. I've had this beard for a long time. But anyway, we'll get around to a lot of that stuff as we go. So thank you for listening and watching, and hope to see you on the next one. All right, bye.